everybody, today I'll be teaching you 5 tips on becoming a better laner as Katarina. To start off, I am a Cat OTP who peaks 700 LP Grandmaster, so hopefully I can be of some help. So, tip number 1 is to know your matchups. This is a very obvious tip, and although I recommend looking to solo kill every single game, in higher elos it is actually the wrong play. Instead, you should play for farm and solo kill if they make a mistake instead of forcing it. However, in some matchups, this can be forced. These champions include Tip number 2 is to not overroam. This is a very common mistake I see in lower elo Katarinas, is they roam in very awkward situations. Missing mid CS and XP is not actually worth flipping a kill. Instead, you should only look to roam if you have mid prio or the play is already happening and you know you can get something out of it. Tip number 3 is to not go one build every single game. Although when you're first starting to learn Katarina, it's okay. As you get better, it's better to branch off into other builds. So let me give you an example. Let's say you really like the full AP build, and sure, it may be good against something like Victor, but against something like Kassadin or Galio, you're much better off going the AD build, which is you can just go Bork or Sunder and then see what else you need in that. But just learning her versatile builds is very, very crucial for climbing to high low. So this tip number 4 ties in a little bit to knowing your matchups, but in the champ select, making the proper ruins for each matchup is really, really important. Some games, well, the most obvious one is should you go Conquer, Electrocute, or First Strike, but some smaller things is, let's say you want to go Sun Impact plus Relentless Hunter. However, the better option could be Second Wind plus Unflinching. To make this decision, just like a general rule of thumb is, against Heavy Poke, going Resolve plus Second Wind. This allows you to get more CS. However, in a more combat-heavy lane where you fight your lane more, Domination plus Sun Impact is better. You get more damage with the pen, and yeah, if you go Bounty Hunter, just more gold. Just know when to go each rune, and you'd be surprised how effective Second Wind actually is into some harder matchups. This tip number 5, is actually a little more advanced. However, it's just to know when to take your trades. So what does this actually mean? Let's say you have a very gank heavy jungler like Jarvan or Rek'Sai. Taking trades where both your laner and yourself are low HP is actually advantageous for Katarina. This is because she has many escapes and you're probably going to be pushed under tower. So this actually puts you in a better state than your opponent, as your jungler is more likely to come mid and kill the opponent, whereas their jungler has a hard time ganking you since you're under tower and you have 2 dashes, maybe 3, or flash. However, taking these risky trades may not be worth it if you have a farming jungler like Kayn or Master Yi. In this case, you can look for solo kills, and you can take risky trades, but it's not as worth it. And in higher elos, it's actually just better to safely farm and scale, and maybe look for some roam opportunities. And one bonus tip for you high elo Katarina mains out there is to actually always stay parallel to your opponent in lane, and try and stay the perfect range away so that if you throw your Q on a minion, your Q lands directly on the opponent. Most of the times in higher elo, when you Q your opponent directly on them and the dagger lands behind them, you won't actually get to hit them with your dagger. Instead, if you hit it on a minion, you get a guaranteed dagger. This also makes it so if you're always parallel with them, this will actually make it less obvious when you're going for it. And yeah, just this gives you more damage. Hopefully these tips will help you out in your future games, and you can keep the 5 tips in mind, but the last tip, the parallel from your opponent one, make sure you practice this a lot, especially if you're trying to push for higher elos. This is a habit you need to get down, or you're gonna just do less damage than other Katarinas. Yeah, thank you. And if you found this helpful, it'd be very appreciated if you subscribe. I'm making a comeback on YouTube. I'm gonna try and make a YouTube video maybe every week or 2. And yeah,